Hey guys, this is Josh with Wi-Fi Money. Always be trading. Day one of my trading series, tracking my funded account with Apex. It's pretty up there. It's number, let's see, 24. As you can see, took a loss on the day. I will be uh, reviewing all of my trades, win or lose. Unfortunately, we're starting off with a nice loss. Looking at the daily chart, I really wanted to break it down to the hourly here because we got a lot of choppiness the last few days. I'd like to trade ICT um, strategies. There's no really too many fair value gaps on this daily or even weekly. Well, there is here, but it's quite a bit of ways away. So I wanted to break it down to the 4 hour here. And within this 4 hour, let's see. I had this trend line here that was that I was wanting to play off of either a support or resistance if it were to break that trend line paired with a fair value gap of some sort. And of course, I'll either trade it once it returns back to a fair value gap. But this trend line is a simple trend line. It was acting as support. If you break it down to the 1 hour, it eventually broke that support and it started to act as resistance. So I thought that was an ideal time to enter a trade. And I initially was considering a trade uh, around, I believe it touched here, and I wanted to trade again around here, but I held off because I like to have support of the EMAs. I used the 9 and the 21 EMA, and it was just chopping back and forth between those two. And I wasn't really confident, so I sat out, and that trade ended up playing way the fuck out. But hey, I wasn't confident. I didn't take it, but I waited for a return in which happened maybe like an hour later. So I'm not about to count those bars. Let's see here. And it returned almost perfectly to the 21 EMA. I absolutely love that for my setup. So I decided to enter a short. Uh, my stop loss was 73 ticks. It's at about $504. I like to keep it around 500. And just a simple 1 to 2 there. And it didn't play out, obviously. It went a little bit in my direction, but man, it stormed back and stopped me. It stopped me out, unfortunately. We were starting off with a loss here. Uh, I wanted to really start at the win. Didn't take my initial trade, which it didn't follow all my confluences. I got to be satisfied with sitting out since all of my confluences weren't there, and they were here for this trade. Had some nice displacement, maybe a little bit too much, so I got to consider that. But it did return to 50%, and it's literally like perfect. This was the 50% return level, and it was the 21 EMA. With those two, I was excited, but no, misplaced excitement. It's all right. Not too high, not too low. We will be patient and wait for the next trade. Hopefully, that one is a winner. Checking back in on how market is painting, and my bias was correct. My timing way off. It still respected the same exact trend line that I drew. You guys can rewind and double check how it was drawn, but it to a T, man. It stopped right there. Probably should have waited or put my stop above that trend line. I mean, it bled way through my initial target. All right, guys, we're coming in on a live trade. I will say, not too proud of this one. A little FOMO here. I'm gonna watch this one tight. It looks like, man, it's a complete bleed out. I went down to five contracts here because there was a nice return on this. I mean, the 1 minute perfectly to this order block. It was a nice. It matched up here. I forgot what ICT calls that, but it has a name. I'm still learning. It's the nature of me making these videos as well. But if you have two candles that meet like that, most likely it'll continue going bearish, and if it was the opposite, and most likely it'll continue on a bullish run. And I entered on this candle as it was pulling away there and hit that order block also. If it goes through that order block, I got a minimal loss, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I'm going for like a one of three. I've missed out. Sort of some FOMO and pissed offness from the previous trades here. Uh, I'm really trying to get rid of just the nature of me making this videos. I'm not proud of this trade, even though it's working out. But we're recording everything here. We're gonna move this to break even. And I've got a really nice take profit down there. And the nature, I'm trying to get better at explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. You would love to get obviously in on this run earlier than that. But the reason here is an order block. I wanted to match this little candle right there. I mean, honestly, I do see a reversal within this order block. I just picked that spot. I can't really explain why. It just looks cool. And that's why you lose money when it looks cool. I need to better my logic, guys. And we are taking profit here. We had most of our position taken off. You can see it there. We are. I don't know why the buy stop didn't close, but that was about I mean, $600, $700 win there after a $500 loss, putting us at 156 profit on the day. I mean, that's an example of a scalp. I mean, literally to a T, a fucking scalp. Uh, Ideally, I mean, my preferred setup is what I explained earlier with our EMAs there, my trend line. Once again, I couldn't pull the trigger here, man. I couldn't. Um, I wanted to wait for a return, and maybe this candlestick was perfect, and it came back up. But man, it was nothing convincing. But right here was convincing. It was our first green candle there. Typically, I mean, it'll go back down after your first green candle in the 5 minute just to shake those that were early trying to own the reversal. But this right here is what truly convinced me to enter. Literally right when I saw a reverse from that, like bam, I sold immediately. I didn't even have a take profit in, but I went and entered it there. I didn't want to miss out and hit my TP, and I don't give a fuck what it does now. All right, guys, that's a wrap on the day. I was considering one more trade, but we're gonna play it safe here. We got Trump speaking at any time. It's tentative on the schedule. That's fucking dangerous. um, but I was considering actually along here, man. Evening reversals. This is something that I have been back testing with some success. A lot of times, it really just runs very, very slowly. Um, but I'm gonna sit out, practicing less risk, less trades. Trades when I'm not too sure. That's when I go on tilt and trying to really prevent that. I had a lot of accounts that I've see I'm on 24. That had a lot of payouts, a lot of accounts that I've fucking had a lot of profit and just go way, way off tilt. But hey, we're here. And yeah, so my target here, I thought I was going to go back to this 50% return. This is also on the 4 hour where I failed to mention that before. This is like the start of a fair value gap between this candle and this candle right here. Nice little fair value gap, man. I'm going to treat it as the inverse fair value gap now that it's gone through it. And I do expect a return. It may be today. It may not be today. But I'm not going to take that risk. This is a huge order block. I mean, it's a huge question right now, and I'm all about um, probability. That's what we call it. Well, signing off, always be trading Wi Fi money. See you guys tomorrow.